Welcome back to Layer Academy. In this video we're going to be taking a look at templates within Blade. To start off, we have an empty Blade file here with nothing in it. So let's load up Sublime, and you can see in our routes file we're loading a view called myView. This is stored in resources, views, and then myview.blade.php. I created a layout found in the layouts folder just called default.blade.php, and it contains some simple HTML code. Of course, when dealing with views, we can copy this layout and paste it into our view and make the necessary changes. So we could say hello layeracademy.co, this is from my view. Now when we refresh a page, that is exactly what we see. However, wouldn't it be nice if we could keep our template in one file and have the rest of our views pulled from that template? Well, we can. So let's get started. Let's start off by erasing everything on my view and writing the keyword extends. Now what we want to do is we want to extend our layout.default. So what this will do is it will pull in everything that is located in this Blade file. If we give a refresh, we can see it has done so. So let's head back to Sublime and make some more changes. Now of course we don't want the same text in all of our Blade files. So what we're going to do is check out a yield tag. So let's go ahead and write yield content. And what this refers to is a section that we will create inside our other view. So if we load up myview.blade.php, we can start off with a section and call it content. We have to end this section. And whatever we write inside this section here will be pulled into our default Blade file using the yield statement. So let's go ahead and save this. Let's give it a try. You can see when we refresh the page, our content is there. So once again, we are extending our layout.default, and then we're pulling in the section content with a yield tag. And the yield tags can be used anywhere in your HTML. For example, if we want a page title to be a section, and if there is no section found in our Blade file, we will append layeracademy.co onto the end of it. So you can see in our Blade file, we do not have that section. So when we do a refresh, our page title changes to our default value. Let's go ahead and let's head on over to myview.blade.php and let's add a section for that page title. And we will assign it my view. If we head back on over into Chrome and we give our page a refresh, you can see our page title changes to my view. So an example that we can use this for is in our default template. We can have our application name, and then we could just say dash and whatever the page title is. So if we give this a refresh, we can see application name, my view. And I just want to point out that our template could have more than one yield or sections in it. For example, if we had a sidebar in here, we could just yield the sidebar out. And as long as the section was found in whatever Blade file we are calling, that content will be spit out to the screen for the user. So in this example, we'll just copy our section content, rename it as sidebar. We'll just say this would be the sidebar. Let's place that inside a div just so things aren't messy. Let's reload our application. You can see that the sidebar is now there. However, this isn't the best approach because this means that we would need the section sidebar in each of our Blade files that we are going to have in our application. Now this is a good time to introduce partials. Instead of yielding the content or the section, let's include the sidebar, and we'll make sure that we're going to go into the folder partials. And let's go ahead and create this file. So we'll just have a new file and we'll name it sidebar.blade.php. Now this sidebar Blade file is just like any other Blade file where you can have sections or other requires. For now, let's just add some basic HTML to show that we're going to have a sidebar. So we'll have a unordered list, we'll say sidebar 1 and sidebar 2. Now I'll save this file, and just to give you a recap, in our default we're now including our partial, and in our Blade file we no longer have a section for sidebar. And when we refresh this page, you can see we have the sidebar here as well as our content. So what this saves us from is instead of having a section in each of our Blade files, we can just include the file and it will follow our template all the way through. Now our content is looking kind of messy, so let's add some divs, and let's add a placeholder for a widget area. The widget I've already created ahead of time, so let's load up the widget that's already created, and you can see it's just a div with an image. However, at the bottom we have this push and end push, and this was introduced in Laravel 5.2, and these are called stacks. The stacks work similar to sections, however we can push to the stack as many times as required. So in our master file, we'll give it a stack with the name of scripts. And if we head back on over to our widget, you can see that we're going to push to our scripts just a JS file called random image. And this exists in public.js random image, and it is just a simple jQuery function that will assign the source of an image. So to get this widget working correctly, we're going to have to head on into our content, and we're going to replace the widget area with an include, and we'll say include partial.image widget. Let's go ahead and let's give this a test. So switch on over to Chrome, we'll give this a refresh, and I have a view not found, and I believe it's just because I have partials instead of partial. So let's add an S, give that a save. Now let's give this a refresh. You can see we have our sidebar, our image, and our original content. If we view the source, you can see our scripts are at the bottom here, so we've successfully pushed our script onto the page. Now, what happens if you want to push another script onto the page? Pretend our my view needs another JavaScript file. Well, this is pretty easy. We can just say push scripts, and let's make up just a dummy script file. So we'll have a script tag, and the source will be js/myotherscript.js. Now if we give this a save, and we come back into Chrome, give it a refresh, and we'll view the source, you can see that our script is indeed at the bottom. So this is how we push multiple scripts into our stack. So stacks can be useful when you don't want to overwrite the content that's in there, such as pushing multiple scripts or pushing multiple style sheets. It is very efficient for that. And sections, just make sure to keep them for your content.